Hey everyone, how's it going? It's been a while. That's just the way it is around here. Hope we're all doing well. Today I'm going to be reacting to something that come out of the blue, 007 First Light, a new James Bond game. Um, yeah, for those, I don't even know if I've even talked about it, but back in the 90s, I was a huge, like going into the early 2000s, I was a huge James Bond fan. I think I probably did mention it on the video donkeys years ago here when I was playing GoldenEye, the N64 game. Just a brief history on that is, it was. I'm not quite sure of the timeline because I'm not sure if it was GoldenEye, which came out in '97, got me into Bond, or I'd have to look at like UK release dates, or was I a Bond fan leading up to that? Because I remember going to see Tomorrow Never Dies in the cinema as a James Bond fan, which was also '97. So I'll have to reconfirm on that because I want to do some more James Bond videos because I've been feeling real nostalgic for it, and I think I talked about it as well. Like a couple of years ago, I actually bought Nintendo, an Xbox 360, and like the older consoles, and started like buying all the James Bond games because up until a few years ago, this is how like fluctuating my James Bond fandom was. I was a huge Bond fan all the way up until what was it, Die Another Day, and that film. I love Pierce Brosnan is still my favorite Bond, but that film killed it for me big time. It was just so naff, and I'll stand by that. And I did rewatch it a few years ago, and I was like, yeah, it's still naff. I was worried that I had a little bit of nostalgia goggles for The World Is Not Enough, but it's still an enjoyable film. But GoldenEye is my joint top James Bond film, along with The Spy Who Loved Me. But yeah, and Tomorrow Never Dies is still a kick-ass Bond film. Yeah, I was a huge Bond fan up to that. I was even a member, and I've got to find these photos somewhere of the. It was like the James Bond. It was like a fan club, but it was like a proper fan club. You paid like my parents, like that was like my birthday money for that membership, and I actually got like signed pictures from like Bond cast and things like that, and they'd have an event. We didn't get to go to the events, but we would go up to London to like Planet Hollywood just so I could like see the Bond outfits and things like that. Because back then, although I was probably a bigger Jurassic Park fan, we didn't really have much in the UK in terms of Hollywood. We only kind of other than Planet Hollywood, but we only had our own film industry. And it's not like now where you can I can walk out my door and walk 2 minutes up the road and like a Hollywood movie was filmed there. You got The Woman in Black was filmed over there. Our Dino Tracker stuff for Universal, Universal Jurassic World Dominion for Universal was filmed on the road that I live in. I filmed it, but yeah, and I know Wonder Woman was filmed on Southend Pier, which is down the road. It's a different game now. The UK is pretty much Hollywood 2.0. But yeah, and I never watched any of the Daniel Craig James Bonds, which was a big mistake because I was just like, nah, it doesn't seem like Bond to me. And I think a lot of people had that kind of like, oh, he's blonde and all of that. And he's too serious, and he's not. He won't have that comic charm of Bond. And for some reason, I just, I listened to that and just kept Bond in the closet for me. And it was only a few years ago that I sort of had a marathon of them Bond films. It was after Die Another Day come out, and Die Another Day, No Day to Die, No Time to Die. Fucking hell. And I was like, man, I regret not keeping the Bond ball rolling and not watching these as they come out because they're all fucking awesome. I even like the Quantum of Solace. But yeah, I'm gonna dig that console out, get on the games, get back into Bond, because this I haven't watched anything on it. I see it came out of the blue because people were like, "There's been no Calvin, who's up here, Calvin Dyson, who I spoke to years ago on a podcast, and we exchanged some Twitter things like once a year. He did a video of like, when the hell is the next Bond game? I hadn't watched it yet, but I was like, oh, yeah, there hasn't been one in a long time, and all of a sudden this got announced. So I'll have to watch his video, and maybe he's like doing it because there was an announcement pending or about to drop. But yeah, all I know from this is that Patrick Gibson plays Bond. You know, it's we've just finished watching him in Dexter. I keep calling it Dexter First Blood, but it's is it Dexter New Blood, New Kill, Original Sin. I don't know. I've literally watched it like a couple of weeks ago, the whole series, and we love Dexter in this house, and we were worried that no, this is gonna suck. You know, it's like a prequel series, but he is actually really, really good as Dexter Morgan, and I think the fact that they've got is it Michael C. Hall? Let me have a look. I'm gonna get it wrong. God, I'm terrible with names and stuff today. Why have I lost it? Why have I lost his name? It's Michael C. Hall. Yeah, I'm not terrible with names. Having him come back and be the inner voice, his dark passenger, it was just like perfect. If they would have not had him, I don't know if it would have worked. Not to take credit away from Patrick Gibson as Dexter, but just that combination, it's so good. And everyone I've said to who had the same thought, I'm like, just watch it. They've come back and like been like, holy shit, this is like top tier Dexter. So yeah, if you haven't watched that and you're a Dexter fan and you're kind of put off, don't be put off. It's awesome. But anyway, all I know is that he is Bond in this game. So yeah, let's give it a watch. I haven't seen any of this. Classic cars. I don't know if this is based on anything like a Fleming book or anything.
To save him. He watched them fall, then found his way off that mountain. He was 11 years old.
He then started a grand tour of every major boarding school in Britain.
Always at the top of his class.
Is this basically
odds with authority,
Dexter New Blood for Bond? And he is young Bond.
And they're all in
James Bond Jr.
Nobody knows what to do
Classic
with him,
90s cartoon.
No.
That's the guy from what's his name?
He feels the same way.
I should always recognise him from the Guy Ritchie movies.
Iceland.
What he did in Iceland was insubordination.
And he was in The Walking Dead as well.
Utterly reckless. He only survived thanks to blind luck. Give me one good
I'm getting
reason
Mission
to put him in
Impossible
the
feels
program,
from this
Mark.
as well, which is not
I
a bad
think you
thing.
just covered them all, Greenway. It's really quite simple. Bond is a bullet without a target. Let's give him one.
Yeah, this is James Bond Jr. the game.
Do you have an appointment?
The name's Bond.
James Bond. He's with me.
And you are? Don't think we've had the pleasure.
Now let's not get ahead of ourselves, James.
That's a Q. Oh look, they've got like real products in it as well. That's cool.
Shouldn't
Touch.
have.
Yeah, this looks cool.
We're facing a situation of the utmost delicacy. I need all my pieces on the board.
009 is a master manipulator. Whatever the end game is, we won't see it coming.
I was going to say it looks like a Hitman game, but I did remember someone on Twitter saying James Bond. It was actually my friend Tom saying James Bond from the makers of Hitman. Like just as I thought that, I was like, oh shit, it is from the makers of Hitman.
With respect, Mom. To hell with that.
I mean, the Bond game's always going to be yes and mine. That is cool. Classic themes. Yeah, Bond games are always got that
Lately, headhunting.
sort of shadow over their head of always being compared to GoldenEye, but this is a story-driven one, and it actually. I'm not sure on them other ones that I bought from like the 360 or Xbox One days are the same. But yeah, this looks cool as fuck. Yeah.
I suppose this is another teachable moment.
Coming 2026. Right, I got to burn through all them other games in the lead up to this. God, that does look cool. I'm actually pumped now, you know. I was excited at the thought of there being like a new Bond game, but you know, actually seeing it now and like the feel and the vibe of it, I'm just like, wow, yeah, take my money all in. It's not often I get excited for a new video game, but this does look kick-ass. They've obviously got the new Jurassic Park game coming next year, but yeah, there's been very few and far updates on that over the last year or so. But yeah, this looks cool as shit. James Bond Jr., the game, First Light. Yeah, man. But that's what I mean. Patrick Gibson, he actually looks good and sounds good in the role, you know. I'm sure a lot of people, I mean, I'd have to check the consensus online, but I'm wondering if there's chatter online about like, oh, actually, he would make a good Bond. And I'm sure when this game comes out, people would, you know, be open to it if he was good in this game, you know, as a younger Bond, you know. For me, though, you know, and I think a lot of people, although he's getting on a bit now and it doesn't look like we're getting a Bond film for a while, even though Amazon just bought the rights, so it's probably going to be fast track, so I'll take that back. Everyone I know, I don't know anyone who doesn't want Henry Cavill to be Bond. It's like he was born to play that role, and he's been giving hints for years. There was like that Aston Martin, not Aston Martin commercial. It was like was it a suit company or an alcohol company? And he's in like the suit, and he comes out, and the Bond Aston Martin. Is it the I can't remember the name. Is it the DB5, DB7, or is that his gun? I don't know. But yeah, it's sitting there, and he gives kind of like a nod to camera. You know, stuff like that's cool. But yeah, Cavill for Bond. If not, I'd definitely be open for Patrick Gibson. And who else was they talking about? The guy who was Kick-Ass and was in Godzilla and is in 28 Years Later. His name has slipped me also. But yeah, I think he would definitely be a good Aaron Taylor-Johnson. Yeah. He actually used to, this is a weird fact, that he actually used to go to my mum's yoga class, and they shared a mat once. That's what she told me. So yeah, he would actually be a good Bond. Some of the films I've seen him in recently, I like him in, although it's like not a major role, you know, things like Tenet and obviously like Bullet Train and things like that. Obviously he'd need to suave up a bit, but yeah, I do think he could carry Bond as well. Who was the other one? The guy from Rocket Man and Kingsman. Taron Egerton. I'm on the fence about him. I wouldn't be upset, but I think there's a lot more stronger personalities in terms of an actor who can bring that to the screen than him. You know, he's done some good films, but yeah, he wouldn't be top of my list. But yeah, this looks cool. I'm fucking psyched. So yeah, bring it on. So yeah, thanks for watching. Comment below your thoughts on the game, thoughts on Bond stuff and all of this, and yeah, we'll again, I'll say it all the time, I'll try and upload regularly. I have actually got something, I think I mentioned this before as well, that I'm working on in terms of Jurassic, which is like a bigger series, and it's not just me watching, although there is elements of that in there. It's, you know, I leave my Harry Potter closet and you know, do some Jurassic related stuff, so that's cool. So yeah, like, subscribe, all of that jazz. Let me know what you think, and I'll speak to you soon. Yeah, follow me on socials as well, because I'm quite active on Instagram. And also, if anyone here did donate, I know I brought it out previously to my London Marathon and my Ultra Marathon donations that were in my previous videos. I thank you so much. You know, I had quite a run of donations towards the London Marathon as well. So if you voted for that, and you know, I had some anonymous donations, thank you so much. I'm going to put the link below, because obviously the fundraising is open till September, and I'm still doing racing. I've got a race in 2 days, Southend Half, my favourite race of the year, and I want to, you know, just keep the momentum going, because it's for a good charity. You know, Children with Cancer, they fund research, they support kids, and they support their families in the UK. So, you know, what if you're going to give a penny or a pound or one donation to a charity per year, you know, this is like literally the one that you should do it to, because it's a very important subject, and, you know, the most vulnerable people on earth are suffering, and, you know, they just need people around them to help them and support them, and their families as well. So, you know, thanks for watching. If you could donate, great. If you give us a follow and like, great. And I'll see you next time.